Hey, Boy Manning here. Welcome to the Garden Report. Celtics back in control of this series for the 7th straight time this postseason. They bounced back after a win. Now 7-0 in these positions, trying to bounce back. A lot of talk afterward of just how well they do when they need to respond, even within a game, and they did that again in this one, Josue.
Yeah, absolutely.
33-25, third quarter. Bombs away from the Warriors from three-point land, and the Celtics respond with one of their more dominant quarters of this postseason run. Stops on 10 of the first 13 Warriors possessions to open up the fourth quarter. Hold Steph Curry to 1 of 4 shooting, 3 straight turnovers to open the fourth, and grab 5 offensive rebounds over that final 12-minute stretch. And basically, I'd say will, power, and physical their way to make that a verb to this win.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll take all those verbs, Bobby. I think it's accurate in this one because the Celtics not only survived the huge run from the Golden State Warriors, but they also took it up a notch. They also, on defense, they buckled down. They started to relax. I feel like the Warriors are starting to speed things up. They like to play in that type of environment, and that actually was the big reason why I think it led to that for them actually grabbing a lead in that second half, which happened in a hurry. And for the Celtics to bounce back the way they did in the fourth quarter just showed a lot of character, in my opinion. They were able to recognize what was going on, what was going wrong for them, and of course, Ime Udoka making the proper adjustments, but also Robert Williams just giving you that extra muscle in that fourth quarter when you needed it the most. Guys like Grant Williams, I thought, kept his composure, kept fighting out there. It was a physical battle. It's easy to get into your feelings, as we saw what happened in Game 2. Draymond was trying to do his own thing again, back to those same antics. They had to be separated, for a couple seconds, but then Grant went right back to focusing on basketball, which I thought was a big difference between what we saw in Game 3 and Game 2, along with the steady offensive flow from the Celtics. I mean, look, Jayson Tatum and Jaylen Brown, I feel like we're 2 point guards in a way, but also Jaylen Brown was the attacker, was the aggressive one. That I thought his offense was tremendous throughout. And you look at what Tatum was in terms of being a point guard, being that playmaker that this team needed, finding the open guys, but also giving the Warriors that thorn in their constant side on offense and the scoring aspect, I thought was a huge difference and what led to a blowout win.
Passing from the early going was amazing, and Tatum finishes with 26 and 9. Not a great shooting night, but again, making the right reads, overall limiting the turnovers. They had a few stretches where the ball got away from him in this one, but the movement was excellent. You had multiple layers of playmakers. It was Tatum, Brown had 5 assists, Marcus Smart screening a ton, making himself available on the ball. These were all good things to settle down the offense, and really I thought from the opening quarter make the Celtics prolific offensively in this one. They held a 10-point lead pretty much throughout until that shooting explosion by the Warriors. Not to mention Horford added 6 assists here, so they trusted him to do a little bit more with the ball in his hands.
Yeah, I thought he was tremendous on both sides. There was times where he was struggling a bit, just trying to find his offense, but that didn't disrupt what he was doing defensively and just sort of being like that, pretty much the mastermind of the defense, in my opinion. I thought he did a really good job, especially in the switches. We saw that defense that you want to see from him, being able to guard multiple positions. But also, I feel like the Celtics, just as a whole, they read what the defense was giving them. You didn't see anything spectacular. Well, the reason why I say spectacular was because it's easy to go back to what happened in that fourth quarter in Game 1, right, and say, well, man, to Draymond's point, in a way, right? Yeah, you don't see that often from the Celtics team, for them to just go on that onslaught of three-pointers. But this was a little different, right, Bobby? I feel like this was more about just reading the defense, finding the open shot, and just, again, giving what the defense, taking what the defense was giving them, and making sure that guys were getting the right passes, guys were making the right shot, making the extra passes. And I thought all of that, went a long way for the Celtics team, because the Warriors, in my opinion, they look kind of tired. You talked about that during the Celtics postgame show. Steph Curry looked fatigued, and the Celtics just knew when to keep their foot on the gas pedal in that fourth quarter.
And they attacked guys. I thought the tone setter in this game was Brown. Coming out, a move I didn't like, and that John and I talked about in our preview show yesterday, switching Green onto the best players to create some actions. It didn't seem to make any sense, but very early, Brown gets that switch on the Green, attacks him downhill, and scores. And he did it a few times. They end up fouling Green out of this game. Steph Curry has 4 fouls early in the third quarter, so they're attacking guys They're getting downhill. They're shooting close to the basket. Everything Ime wanted them to do, they pretty much did here. Attacking in isolation while keeping that ball popping. I just thought this was a tremendous offensive effort. And as you said, they wore the Warriors down defensively.
Absolutely. And Jayson Tatum had a lot to do with that. He did that a couple of times to Steph Curry. And that's what you're supposed to do. You obviously have a size advantage there, but also you take them in a one-on-one situation, but you get right to it. You don't let the Warriors shift their defense, had that coverage that they've been doing with Tatum, just throwing different guys at him, shadowing him. No, he took it right to Curry, took him to the rack, and he did it more than once. Picking Curry out in out of the defense, the Celtics did a really good job of doing that, and hopefully we see more of that in Game 4 rather, when these two teams go back at it.
Celtics now 2 wins short of a championship. You can feel the energy here tonight. Paul Pierce in the crowd.
Yeah, that was big.
Nelly performing at halftime.
St.
Just
Louis.
a big event.
Yeah.
Major event. Some of the media types here and celebrities and everything else. Just massive stage. They could feel it. They responded. The crowd got going, and they can feel banner 18 within their grasp. I feel like you finally saw the athleticism, size, as you said, and overall talent advantage that the Celtics have in this series start to take over. But Draymond Green still looms. We'll talk about him in another video. Robert Williams' health still a swing factor game to game. So we'll get into those topics and where they could go into Game 4 on Celtics All Access. He's Josue Pavon. I'm Bobby Manning, and we are brought to you by HelloFresh. HelloFresh.com/playoff16. Make it 14 now for the Celtics.
2. You remember when we were saying 2 wins? Now they're 2 wins away, Celtics fans. Not to get you too excited, but, I mean, they're pretty close.
Well, you should be excited about HelloFresh, too. They're still, no matter the win count, offering you 16 free meals, 3 free gifts when you head over there, pre-packaged meals, all the fresh ingredients down to the meat. The freshest meat you can imagine, just on ice. That's how it comes. It's ready to roll. Just throw it right in the stove top, and it's good to go. And you get all the prepackaged ingredients. You don't have to buy anything else. It's done in under an hour, and there's even speedier options for you on there. So go get HelloFresh.com/playoff16. Help us out. We'll be back in San Francisco for a potential closeout game. The Celtics can win Game 4.
Bobby.
So,
not to get ahead of yourself, but I mean, if my math is correct, that's the potential is there.
That's the game, 116-100. Check us out, Celtics All Access, CLNS Media for all the post-game reaction, and CLNSmedia.com for all of our coverage of the Celtics championship push.